Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me on Hoggs vlog. Yes, we're live again because of the T20s. And who have we got on board? Steve and John, how are you going? Vishnu, good to see you. Rohit Raj, Surgeon Epoch, Mohammed Farhan, thanks very much for joining me. There's going to be many more joining me on here with comments later on. Hopefully I can answer all your questions later. But it just seems to be bowl first and you win T20 cricket. Is it becoming a little boring? We can talk about that live on the Hoggs vlog, and let's see my talking points after the bumper. Okay, here we go. We've got Virat Kohli at his best. And there was a question there from Steve and John, if we can get that up. What makes Virat Kohli so special? Now, I just saw that question come up in the comment section very early, so I thought I'd jump on this question, Stephen. The thing that makes Virat Kohli special is that he sums up the conditions, but yesterday, the reason why he's back at his best is that he got his timing right. And the reason why he got his timing right was that he kept his head still and he was in a balanced position every time he was playing the ball. If you look at the times that he's got trouble over the last couple of months, both in Test cricket and one day and T20 cricket, he's still moving as he's playing the ball, as the bowler's about to let go of the ball. So that's what I'm talking about with his timing. He's actually still out the point of delivery, and that enables him to get his head still and get in the position, the line of the ball, to play the shot that he wants to. The other thing too is watch him play those big shots where, I'll just stand up here, and he plays with those wrists and he takes the ball, he plays square of the wicket when it looks as though he should be hitting straight down the ground. His head is still on the ball as he hits it. That's why he gets so good at timing. And then the ball's about 20 metres away. That's when he looks up and sees where the ball's going. So that's something that young players that want to be top-level cricketers could work on moving forward to help their game. I know when I was having trouble with my batting, yes, I batted down the lower order in 7 and 8. But when I was having trouble, the coach always told me to hit the ball, don't move my eyes until the ball's hit the net, and then I can see where the ball's going. That makes me watch the ball a lot longer, a lot harder onto the bat. The other thing with Virat Kohli yesterday is that he timed his run right to the end. He was losing wickets out the other end, but in playing this conservative approach, there is one little issue and one little problem that India could get into if he doesn't fire like he did in the final 5 overs, because he was going out less than a run a ball with 5 overs to go. If he got out and didn't do the damage in that back end, it puts pressure on the likes of Hardik Pandya and the lower order. That's something you've got to watch when you're playing that conservative role. Which leads me to the next point. Rishabh Pant dismissal. Now, out that point, Rishabh Pant was in the 12th over and he was just starting to find his feet. Now, Rishabh Pant's one of 2 players in this Indian team that can take the game away from the opposition with their own bat, with their explosive ability. The other one is Ishan Kishan. Now, you've got to use these blokes, these 2 players, in their perfect roles. Now, this was a time when he got run out that Rishabh Pant had to take on the bowling and take the risk, and Virat Kohli still play that conservative role out the other end. And having a run out of Rishabh Pant's quality, you can't afford to do that in T20 cricket. But in saying that particular incident, if you watch it, Butler pushed the ball back and there was definitely an overthrow there. But I've got to have a little dib out Rishabh Pant here, because Virat Kohli was alert to it, wanted the run. Rishabh Pant was just running through, just thinking, okay, I'm going to be facing the next ball. He wasn't alert to the situation, and he was a little bit more aggressive, looking for that extra run, looking for where the ball went. He would have got home safely. So just a little bit of awareness there where they could have snuck in the extra run. But on the flip side of that, Virat Kohli should have been a little alert of where Rishabh Pant was, because that was the moment of the game which led India to be out of the contest from there on. If Rishabh Pant was on there, he would have made he would have put India in a score of around about 180 with his explosiveness if he faced another 20 balls. Okay, the next point, the power of Jos Butler. Okay, everyone talks about Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul, top quality openers going around in world cricket. I have to say, I think Jos Butler is probably the best opener in T20 cricket right now. The reason why I say that is he's explosive against the pace bowlers. He knows the shots that he wants to play, but when the spin comes on, he's got a variety of shots. And the matchup yesterday between Chahal and Butler was very impressive. Butler just charged him straight away, hit him over the top, charged him again, and then played the reverse sweep, and that put Chahal off his game. Now, this is where India have got to be a little bit smart. What matchup is the right matchup for Butler? I think they've got to bring in Saini, a little bit of extra pace, and test him with the short ball for a couple of overs. If it comes off, you get Butler out, you break up England's presence and the way that they like to set up their innings. If Butler bats through the whole innings, England win the majority of matches. If Butler doesn't, England don't, because they don't have those. They don't have the batsmen that are explosive that can continue that explosiveness against all the different types of bowlers. The other thing with Butler yesterday, England struggled the last game with slower balls that were against pace bowlers. So every time the pace bowlers slowed it down, English batsmen struggled. Jos Butler didn't. He's the most adaptable player in this lineup. He's the best opener going around in world cricket. Okay, today we're just going to go for a quick preview of Game 4, Axar, Patel or Chahal. If they want to open the bowling with a spin bowler, I think they either got to go with Sundar with his extra pace and extra bounce. The English openers don't really want to reverse sweep him or conventionally sweep him. If they're not comfortable with Sundar, I think they might have to bring Patel in to open the bowling to those two right-handers, because they won't really want to sweep him as much. They want to try and hit him down the ground. And with that extra bounce, Axar Patel can be a little sneaky with his pace and drop the line and length back when they come out of their crease. He's very alert to that, but he'll know that they won't want to sweep. If they're going to play Chahal, they can't open the bowling with him anymore. Even though he got Roy out yesterday, they just can't afford to. They've got to allow him to bowl in the middle overs where the ball's a little softer and he might be able to get more purchase and more turn off the wicket, which counteracts the English batsman being able to come down as comfortably to hit him over the top, straight down the ground, as well as sweep him conventionally with that extra turn, because it's harder to get it in the middle of the bat. So that's one area that India have to look at. I'd keep Chahal, bowl him in the middle overs, and have Washington Sundar open the bowling. Okay, the next point for the next game, India counteracting England's pace. England's pace, the three pacemen are just way too quick for the batters who are batting in the power play. They don't have an answer for it. So yesterday, KL Rahul, his footwork is not there. I think they've got to have Kishan opening the batting and let him be aggressive. If he comes off, and he puts pressure on, and it makes it easier for the other batsmen coming in the lower order. If he doesn't come off, then Virat Kohli comes out and does what he does yesterday. It's as simple as that. You need that aggressive batsman out the top to take the risk with the defensive player coming in out three. Also, Rohit Sharma, he was found wanting yesterday. I know that he missed the last two games, but that was unlike him trying to advance someone of the pace of Wood. You can't do that. He's very good just standing there, picking up the line and length and playing off his hips. So that's something that the Indian batsmen have to look at. For me, it's standing there, using your timing, trying to punch off the back foot through those gaps in the cover region. If it's off your hips, well, just try and work it and get the ones and twos running hard between the wickets. And if you're doing that and you're scoring those ones and twos off the odd ball, those bowlers are going to chase you and they're going to bowl loose balls, and you've got to make sure you put them away. It's a hard task. They're bowling that good line and length, But that's the only way you can do it, is make sure you rotate the strike and try and punch it through the covers where the Indian batsmen are strong against pace. Okay, let's get to the time for your questions. I'm looking forward to this. Okay, everyone. Okay, Vishnu, Auntie, how are you going? And thanks very much for everyone else who's joining me here as well. Just seen Sam Colgan get on, Ratan Chowdhury, Raj D. Thanks very much for that. Vishnu, the question: do you think it is time for India to venture out pure pace like Saini in the upcoming games after looking at Mark Wood? And how about Siraj in T20s after his recent IPL and red ball success? I think both of these players are great options to bring into your T20 team, but I think they have to have a crack at Saini in these next two games to see what he's got to offer. If you don't have Boomer in the team, Boomer gets injured, you need a backup with someone with sheer pace. Saini's not the quality of Boomer, but he's got the pace of Boomer to be able to unsettle some of the opposition players. So they have to look at that option. They have to give him a go on these particular wickets to see what he's got. So I think they've got to play him in the next two games and have him just say, you've got 2 overs at Jos Butler, want you to rough him up, see what he's got, try and hit those good lengths, see if he can counteract that and play a pull shot that's not quite there, or a back foot punch through the covers that's not quite there, and just test the nous of Butler there. So get Saini in, I really agree with that. Siraj, on the other hand, I think he's a test bowler. I really, with the T20 World Cup coming up right now, I really wouldn't want him to be playing T20s out at the moment. I'd leave him down the track for the next World Cup that's coming through, because you've got Boomer coming back and Boovy's just starting to bowl well as well. But Vishnu, very good question. Okay, Shubs, let's get the next question up, please. Rohit Raj, how are you going, mate? Rishabh, thanks very much for joining me. Ashish Singh, who else have we got there? M. Abhijit Kamat, thanks very much. Rohit, do you think Rohit and Virat are enough to stabilise the Indian batting with experience and have the rest with explosive youngsters? Okay, if you look at England's batting lineup, Jos Butler, if he gets through the whole innings, he sets the game up for England with his explosiveness. The thing with the Indian batting team, they've got Rohit and Virat, both players who are able to bat through the innings. The thing with Virat Kohli too is he's one of the most, I think he's in the top 4 in IPL at least, of death batting with his strike rate. So that's why he's very explosive out the end. So that's why he's good playing conservatively out the front end. He can make it up out the back end. But where your lineup has to excel is having Kishan and Pant used in vital situations in your batting lineup. Kishan opening the batting, he can do a Butler role. If he comes off, he comes off. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I don't think you can't expect him to be as consistent as Butler because he's not as experienced, but just let him come in and play with that freedom. Then if he gets out, you'd have someone like Pant coming in to be able to take that void, and you've got 2 options there of 2 players being able to come off and be aggressive, and that allows Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma to be a little bit more conservative out the other end. That's how I'd set up the Indian team. And then your likes of Hardik Pandya and Iyer, they just play different roles as they see fit to see where the game has been set up by the top order. So for me, that's a very good question. I think those 2 have to stabilise the innings, but let Ishan Kishan and Pant be explosive with their games, be a little bit more aggressive. Okay, Shubs, next question. Abhijit Kamat, how are you going, Abhijit? I hope all is well with you. Do you think KL Rahal's poor performance is due to huge squad with players who can replace him, or his technique? I just think it's his technique. And the other thing too, he hasn't had much time out in the middle. And there's not many Indian bowlers that he's facing in the nets that are bowling as quick as all 3 English bowlers. So he's not getting his body attuned or his batting attuned to that type of pace at the moment. So I think it's more of a technical problem, and picking up the line and length early rather than the pressure of other players in the squad. But right now, with Kishan performing in the previous game, he will be feeling a little bit of pressure there. But it's more the technique and keeping focused on the ball. Very good question there, Abhijit. Next question, please, Shubs. Dushyant Lodi. How you going, mate? Love your insights. Thanks very much. I've gotten used to watching your show before and after each match. Absolutely love it. Oh, Dushyant, thanks very much for that, mate. And thanks very much for everyone joining me. It's always nice to get a nice compliment like that. And it's just great that we've got so many cricket lovers out there. And I'd just like to thank everyone over in India for their support of cricket. Because if it wasn't for you, cricket wouldn't where it is now. And there's more people joining me. Namaste. Namaste to everyone over there. Thanks very much for that. Okay. Next question. Ratan Chowdhury. India don't have super fast pace like Wood and Archer in England right now because swing is not working. Well, you're kind of right there. I think they've got to replace Tucker with Saini. I think Bhuvi is just starting to find his straps with the new ball. He's very smart. He's getting the in-swing and the odd ball to stay straight or move away. That's troubling the England openers. Bhuvi's just starting to get his match fitness back. I think by the end of this series, his death bowling is going to be up to scratch as well. And when Bumrah comes back, Bhuvi and Bumrah are going to be spearheading this attack, and they'll be putting more pressure on the opposition teams. Just remember, you've got your prime spearhead out of the attack in Bumrah, who provides a lot of pressure and makes it easier for the other bowlers in your lineup to pounce on the English players, who will be more aggressive to them to try and catch up with the pressure that Bumrah has put on the scoreboard with his type bowling. And that's where partnerships are all about. I'll just share something with my career, especially in one days, when Australia were very dominant. It wasn't because we had 5 dominant bowlers out that time. Shane Warne wasn't playing. I'd come into the team. Glenn McGrath just applied pressure out the other end, scoreboard pressure. They couldn't get on top of him, and then I'd be bowling out the other end, and the batsman would be more aggressive to me. And that allowed my variations to come in and create those wicket-taking opportunities. So it wasn't just so much my bowling that was good enough at that level. It was more so the pressure created from the other end. And that's why it's so important to have Bumrah in your team here. And Bhuvaneshwar out the top. And then those spinners in the middle order will start to dominate again. Good question there, Ratan. Okay, next question, please, Shubs. Ashish Singh. I'm asking this question from last few days. It's not getting picked, so we've got it here. So, Ashish, here it is. Since Chahal is too expensive recently, shall India try out a new leggy in Rahul Chahar? Ashish, Rahul's just come into the team because Chakraborty was not fit enough. This could be an opportunity for him. That is a great little pick there. I was thinking that they might play Axar Patel. I think they've got to go with the option of Rahul Chahar. You need a leg spinner in there. Chahal hasn't done well. Chahal come in, give him a go for the next 2 games. He's got a little bit more height, and that will be more difficult for the English batsmen to play that sweep shot. They'll have to use their feet a little bit more, and he might be able to create those stumping opportunities. Ashish, that is a very, very good pickup, and I'm glad that question got out. Virat Kohli, Ravi Shastri, get Rahul Chahar in their next game, see what he's got. Thanks very much for that question, Ashish. Niraj Chaudhary, how are you, mate? Do you think yo-yo fitness test should be considered for T20 over players' skills? As Chakrabarti failed 2 kilometres yo-yo test and was left out of T20 squad. In Test One Day Internationals, it's okay, but for T20, what do you think? Niraj, Fitness standards are there so that players can be at their peak performance. When you're under pressure in humid conditions, if your fitness is not up to standards, your skill set drops off as well. But the other thing with fitness standards, it shows the commitment of the players. It shows the commitment to the team culture. And if you're not fitting those fitness standards, you shouldn't be in the team. And to be quite frank, the yo-yo test, the 2 kilometre time trial compared to other sports in cricket, it's not that difficult. So it's fairly basic fitness test that all cricketers at first class level and above should be able to uphold. And if Chakrabarti doesn't want to be at that standard, he doesn't deserve his position in the team. I know I'm being tough on him, but you have to uphold those standards. Otherwise, if those small standards slip, then other things creep into your team culture in a negative way, and it just falls away very quickly. You've got to uphold high standards at all times. So, Niraj, good question. But fitness has to play a big part. Shrikant, which opening pair will be more effective and why? Rohit Rahul, Kishan Rahul, or Rohit and Darwin? Should KL Rahul be replaced with Surya Kumar Yadav or Shikhar Dhawan? I think Shikhar Dhawan in T20 cricket, his career might be over. I just think he's lost that explosiveness. The game has moved forward, and I just don't think his type of batting is suited for T20 cricket right now. He had a great IPL last time, but when the bowling gets above 140 plus, he starts to struggle. So, and you don't have time to play that conservative innings when you've got 3 quicks who are on you at this level. So you need someone who can pick that ball up a little earlier and play that aggressive role against that type of bowling. So for me, at the present moment, I'd have Rohit and Kishan in the team. I'd bring Virat Kohli back to number 3. And if you're looking at Hardik Pandya to play the 5th bowling option, I'll have Surya Kumar Yadav coming in at number 6, someone who can come out and finish off the innings if need be. So that's the way that I'd set it up. I'm being very, very hard on KL Rahul. He has been an absolute phenomenal player for India. He's been very versatile with being able to bat out 4 and open the batting. But the thing is, you need him in the squad to be the backup keeper if something happens to Pant, but also as a backup opener if one of the openers gets injured. He's probably someone that you need as a replacement in that top 4. So that's the way that I'd go about it. Trish, thanks very much for that. Niskul Nayak, how are you? What should India do differently in the batting power play? Okay, Niskul, I don't think they need to do too much different at the moment. The only thing that I would have is have Ishan Kishan come in to open the batting with Rohit Sharma. Ishan Kishan just plays his natural game, try to take on the pull shots and the cut shots, and that if he gets away with it, there's a bit of a risk there. Every now and then it's not going to come off, but if he gets away with it, it puts the English bowlers off their line of length, and then it allows the likes of Rohit and Virat Kohli, if they're in the power play, to capitalise on those loose bowling. The other thing is with Rohit and Virat Kohli in those power play situations, rather than trying to overhit the ball and be expansive, anything on top of off stump, back yourself to time it through with a short back lift through that cover region. If it's on your hips and you're not comfortable with the pull shot, just try and work it in the gaps down out that deep fine leg region for the 1s and 2s. 1s and 2s are very important. The scoreboard's still ticking over, and when they come on with their spinners and their 5th bowling option, that's where you try and be more aggressive to those type of bowlers if you've got wickets in hand. And if you are, then it puts pressure on those quick bowlers in the death overs, and that's where you'll pick up some more loose bowling as well. So, yeah, timing of the ball. The Indians are so good at timing of the ball. They should be able to get 40 off the power play by just going a little like that. Thanks very much for that question, Nishkul. Star Black. Hope you're having a good day. I am. Hope you're having a good day too, Star Black. My question is, Indian team does not have a settled 11 for World Cup. Do you think it is very late now? I don't think it is. What I'd like to see with the Indian team right now is go, this is the top order that we would like to have in that T20 World Cup. Let's put it in there and have that same 11 or that same batting order for the next two games. And that is giving Ishan Kishan a go out opening the batting and Surya Kumar Yadav out number 6. And with the bowling department, I'd give Rahul Chahal, the question just earlier that came up, a crack. Just see what he's got with his leg spin bowling, see if the England players play him a little differently. And I'd give Saini an opportunity as well, just to see what they have to offer. But at the moment, they've been playing around with their T20 team too late in the piece. The T20 World Cup's just around the corner. I don't like that process of it. You've got to try and have a settled 11 before going into that T20 World Cup. And Star Black, that is a very, very good pickup. Next questions, please, Shubs. Shabanka. Hang on. Shabanka, have batsmen figured out Yuzi Chahal? Yes, they have. They have figured out Chahal. They know that he doesn't have that extra bounce. When he bowls with the new ball, he doesn't get as much turn as he does with the old ball. So the likes of Butler are using their feet, but they're also knowing that if he's under pressure, he'll go wider. So they're going to the reverse sweep rather than the conventional sweep as well. So they have worked him out. Chahal has got to find, if he plays the next game, an option to get a little bit more overspin to hit the bat higher up when they're charging down the crease. If he doesn't do that, it's just easy fodder if he's not getting much turn off the wicket for the England batsman to hit straight down the ground. Good question, that. Shubs? Austin Dakuna, how are you going, Austin? Good to see you back on board here. Is Kohli the best T20 batsman at the moment? Please check out my YouTube channel, sir. Will do, Austin. Virat Kohli, the best T20 batsman going around out the world at the moment? Oh, that is a difficult question. He's up there in the top 3. Jos Butler opening the batting at the moment for England, for me, is the most, if I'm on an opposition looking at the players that I've got to bowl to, Jos Butler is the one that I'd probably be most worried about, because he's destructive against the pace, and if he's on top of the pace and then I've got to come on, he's been destructive against the spin as well. So I'd be a little bit nervous to him. Virat Kohli, I know that he's a little bit conservative through those middle overs. I'd be quite prepared to allow him to be conservative, just push the ones and not really be aggressive against me, and make him try and catch it up in the back end. If he's good enough to do that, he's good enough to do that. So for me, Virat Kohli on a conservative role is the best batsman going around in T20 cricket at the moment. But Jos Butler as the aggressor from the top is probably the best option there. So they're probably my 2 picks at the moment. I can't think of anyone else there that can be in front of those 2 with the way that they played last night. Next question, please, Shubs. Tanmoy Chakrabarti, how are you going, mate? Hope you're going well. Is 5 bowlers strategy hurting India batting first? No, I don't think so. I think Hardik Pandya has really stepped up with the ball. He's bowling hard into that wicket. He's using a change of pace as well. I've been very, very impressed with the way that he's going, and I think India is starting to be a little bit more comfortable with him being the 5th bowler. I just think when they're batting first, they're a little bit unsure of how to start the innings in the power play. They feel as though they've got to be a little bit more aggressive than what they are. I don't think they've got the power play or the top 3 right mix at the moment. So for me, it's not about the bowlers. It's more about the top order batting in the power play when they bat first. I think if you get around about 170, 180 in a T20 match batting first, you've got a huge chance of winning bowling second. And this is where teams around the world have to find a strategy to defend totals, because it's becoming a little bit boring. You bowl first and you win most of the games. We've got to change that strategy. Teams have got to be more effective bowling second. And in doing that, that's my rant for the vlog. Thanks very much for everyone for joining me. Have a great day, and let's enjoy the next T20 when it comes around. You can join me on Twitter at Brad_Hogg and Instagram as well. Thanks very much, guys. Have a great day. Namaste.